you click this video away, then please tell me what the reason was so that I can improve. Otherwise, hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn biographyology. Today, Elizabeth of Hungary. And after we've done that, we're gonna do neck stretching. And if you participate in the neck stretching, then it's already on this. This is the second time that we're reading the text to Elizabeth of Hungary. And now we're trying to go over the text and memorize what we have as important informations, and then try to do from memory a presentation. Elizabeth of Hungary, she lived in the 13th century. Feast day the 17th November. Symbols in art are bread, roses, pitcher and double crown. And patronage of baking, lace making and beggars. Patronage of baking, lace making and beggars. Paintings. The Renunciation of Queen Elizabeth of Hungary and St. Clair and St. Elizabeth of Hungary. That's the complicated. Profile. Daughter of King Andrew II of Hungary, and then also a nun who cared for the sick. Born into the comfort of medieval Hungarian royalty. Hungary is in Eastern Europe. Born into the comfort of medieval Hungarian royalty, Elizabeth had a fortunate start to life. An arranged marriage for political reasons at the age of 14 to Louis of Thuringia, central Germany, in Germany, was a success. The couple bore 3 children and lived in contentment for 6 years until Louis, so her husband, died of the plague while joining crusaders assembled in Italy. Okay, the informations. We want to say she was the daughter of Andrew II, the Hungarian king, and for political reasons she was, when she was 14, married to Louis of Thuringia, of Thuringia, Louis of Thuringia in central Germany, and they lived a happy marriage and they got 3 children for 6 years. Okay. When her husband Louis died, and he was in Italy, assembling to sail over to the Middle East for crusading reasons. Elizabeth is said to have run through Wartburg Castle, shrieking with grief. Wartburg Castle, that must be in Thuringia. I don't know where it's exactly, but this is a very famous castle in central Germany. Shrieking with grief. What happened thereafter is uncertain, but her husband's death proved to be a turning point. It is thought that for some reason she was expelled from her own home by her brother-in-law, whereupon she decided to renounce the world to join the Order of St. Francis. What happened then is not completely clear, but it is said that her brother-in-law expelled, and she then became a nun of the Order of St. Francis. Nun of the Order of St. Francis. She made provisions for her children, then devoted the rest of her short life, she got only 24 years old, to care of the needy. As a married woman, she had cared for poor families, taking food and garments to them at the foot of a cliff on which her castle home was built. Continuing in the same spirit, she built and worked in a hospice, providing for the elderly and sick. Okay, while she was living in a castle already, she was giving food and garments to beggars, to them at the foot of a cliff on which her castle home was built. And when she worked in a hospice after she had joined as a nun with the Order of St. Francis. When not actively tending to their needs of the elderly and sick in hospice, she occupied herself with domestic tasks such as baking, spinning yarn and carding wool. Carding wool, spinning yarn and baking. She would clean the homes of the poor and fish in the river to feed them. So much energy did she pour into the selfless service of others, as well as practicing extreme exercises of self-mortification, that her superior felt obliged for her own sake to curb her enthusiasm. He prevented her from giving away her possessions and limited her almsgiving. However, malicious reports of ill behavior from her companions invoked harsh discipline from the superior, the former inquisitor. She suffered sometimes brutal treatment and confessed to living in great fear of him. But it was the ill behavior from her companions. We don't going to go too detailed into that. We're just going to say which the people don't really like that she was working with compassionate self-mortification and they tried to stop her from doing that, but she suffered sometimes brutal treatment and confessed to living in great fear of him. Nevertheless, the punishments yielded no return. As she said of herself, she was like sedge in a stream during flood times. The water flattens it, but when the rains have gone, it springs up again, straight, strong, and unhurt. But whatever punishments, she would just stand up again, straight, strong, unhurt. Despite the attempt of a Hungarian noble to persuade her to return to her homeland, she refused, saying that all her life and death was nowhere in Germany. She died soon after, aged 24. Germany's first Gothic cathedral, Elizabeth Kirk, was built at Marburg to house her relics. At Marburg, Elizabeth Kirk, the first Gothic church of Germany, housed her relics. Okay, baker, lace makers, and beggars. The patronage. I think we have it all, at least mostly. So, I have a second camera, which I'm going to start now when I try to set it up. Hungary. Saint Elizabeth of Hungary. She lived in the 13th century. She was the daughter of a Hungarian king, Andrew II. For political reasons, when she was 14, she was married to Louis of Rheinika in central Germany. She's the patronage of bakers, of baking, of lace making, and of beggars. Now, when she was living there, she lived in a happy marriage for 6 years, and she got 3 children. When her husband died in Italy, when he was assembling to make a crusade to the Middle East. Now, and that was a turning point in her life. It is not completely clear what had happened then, but it might be possible that her brother-in-law had expelled her from the castle. The castle is Wartburg in central Germany. It's the same castle in which Martin Luther was 300 years later, and was partly working on translating the Bible into the German language. Now, and she was expelled from the castle from her brother-in-law, maybe that's the reason, and she became now a nun in the order of St. Francis. And already when she was living in the castle, she was giving food and garments to beggars, and now she dedicated basically her whole life on helping other people. She worked in hospice for elderly people, and she was fishing for people, she was baking, spinning yarn, carding wool. And not everyone really liked it, and people tried to stop her from doing that, and people also punished her, but she said that she will always just stand up again, like sedge in a stream after the flood had gone through. Straight, strong, and unhurt. Now, there was then some attempt to bring her back to Hungary, that is in southern Europe, to bring her back to Hungary, but she stayed in Germany, saying she wanted to stay in Germany. She died very soon, just at the age of 24. Her relics are at Marburg in Germany's first Gothic cathedral in Elizabeth Kirk. That is according to Malcolm Day's A Treasury of Saints book on the page 21. I'm going to stop the camera. And that was the Biographyology part. If you were here for Biographyology, you can go directly to the next part of Biographyology, where we will do another person. If you stay here and participate in the Neckstretching, when it's better to honest. The legs are standing shoulder wide apart, and we're breathing in and reaching with the arms to the side. There we go. reach in front, up, back, the other way around, back, reach with the fingertips, front, up. Have the feet standing together, arms to the side, and we're doing a push-up, fly around a bit. Backwards. Now, the feet are standing shoulder wide apart and tall up, shoulders back, breathe in. And breathe out and turn slowly and carefully the head over to one side, only as far as it goes. Breathe again in. And out, chin down onto the clavicle. Breathe again in, lift the gaze, turn the head over to the other side and to the other side. Breathe again in. And out, chin down onto the clavicle. Again in, up with the head, and again over to the first side. Breathe again in. Now breathe halfway out, and then circle the head over to the other side. Breathe again in. And out, circle the head over to the other side. And back it. Now the fly, the palms together and the elbows together. Breathe in and reach high up. Hold it down. In and up. Back down. And up. Arms back, breathe in. And out, front, head down. In the back. Out the front. Now the cashew. Have the feet standing together, intertwine fingers behind the back, tall up, shoulders back, breathe again in. And out, turn the head over to one side, the chin down to the clavicle, and pull the hands down to the ground. Breathe in, lift the gaze, and turn it over to the other side. Breathe again in. Out, chin down onto the clavicle, pull the hands down to the ground. In and head up, back into the middle. Now the stretch of Venus. Legs are standing a bit more on shoulder wide apart. Intertwine the fingers behind the back. Bring them over to one side. Breathe in. Shoulders back, tall up. And out, turn the head over to the side with the hands out. Chin down onto the clavicle and pull the arm into the shoulder. Breathe in, lift the gaze and turn it over to the other side. Hands over to the other side. Tall up, shoulders back. Breathe in. Out, chin down onto the clavicle. Pull the arm into the shoulder. In, lift the gaze, turn it back into the middle. Feet are standing together. One hand behind the back. Breathe in, lift the arm up. And breathe out and bring the head over to the side. Down, pull. Breathe again in. And out, look up to the hand on top of the head. Lift again. Other hand behind the back. Breathe in the other arm up. Out, bring the head over, down, pull. Breathe again in. And out, look up to the head on top. And down. Breathe in, lift the arms up. And breathe out, lean back, draw the shoulder blades together. The crab in the morning. In and the arms up. And out and back. In and up. Bring the hands together and lean back. The reed in the wind. Breathe in into the middle. And out and back. In into the middle. And out over to the side. The fur in the wind. In into the middle. Out to the other side. In into the middle. Intertwine the fingers and reach high, the screw. And breathe out, reach in the front, hold the back, head down. The bowing curls neck. In and up. Upper cross the other way around, breathe and reach high again. And out the front. In and up. And lean with long arms back, the sky arm. In and up. Out and back. Out the arms down, and we're doing the eagle's wings. Leaving the arms up, out and down, in and up, out and down, and we're ending with the cactus collecting its stinks in the evening. Hands up, together, and down to heart. That was the next stretching. I thank you very much, and until next time.